Let me tell you about the day humanity became the most feared species in the known universe. I know you're probably thinking this is another one of those grandiose tales about how we humans outsmarted some advanced alien civilization with our incredible intelligence or superior technology. Well, you're wrong. This is the story of how we conquered the galaxy with cat videos and bad puns. I wish I was joking. My name's Jack Cooper, and I'm probably the least qualified person to tell this story, seeing as I'm just a maintenance engineer. Actually, scratch that I'm the most qualified person to tell this story, because I'm the idiot who accidentally started the whole thing. In my defense, I was severely undercaffeinated at the time. See, humanity had just joined the Galactic Council about 6 months prior. You'd think first contact would have been some grand affair with majestic ships descending from the heavens. Instead, they found us because someone at SETI accidentally broadcast the entire Baby Shark collection into deep space. The council representatives were apparently convinced this was either a sophisticated torture technique or a cry for help. They weren't entirely wrong on either count. The Galactic Council set up their embassy in what used to be an abandoned mall in Newark, New Jersey. I'm still not sure if they chose that location as a subtle insult or if their research team seriously messed up. Either way, they stuck me with the job of maintaining their facilities because, and I quote, "Human technology is so primitive, even the least qualified among them should be able to handle it." I spent most of my days trying to explain to various alien species why they couldn't plug their quantum computers into our building's ancient electrical system, or why the escalator wasn't actually a primitive form of teleportation. But my real nemesis was the coffee machine in the diplomatic reception area. The aliens had insisted on installing their own upgraded version, which had 17 different buttons, spoke in riddles, and occasionally violated the laws of thermodynamics. The council members themselves were exactly what you'd expect from a bureaucracy that spanned multiple star systems, condescending, obsessed with paperwork, and completely impossible to deal with before their morning dose of caffeine-equivalent substances. They treated Earth like that weird cousin nobody wants to invite to family gatherings but has to because of social obligations. Your species is quaint. Ambassador Zorn from the Silicon Collective would often say, their crystalline form gleaming with what I swear was smug superiority. Still using verbal communication as your primary means of information exchange. How charmingly prehistoric. I usually responded to these comments by nodding politely, while trying to figure out why the coffee machine was now dispensing what appeared to be liquid time. But looking back, I guess we should have paid more attention to the warning signs. The patronizing remarks, the diplomatic oversights that kept Earth representatives out of important meetings, and especially the way certain council members started acting nervous whenever the Voraxian Empire was mentioned. The Voraxians, as I would soon learn in the most ridiculous way possible, were basically what you'd get if you combined a military dictatorship with a homeowners association, absolutely no sense of humor and way too many rules about lawn maintenance. But we'll get to them in a minute. First, you need to understand just how badly the Council underestimated humanity. They classified us as a level 2 civilization shows promise but requires supervision to avoid self-destruction. They put us in the same category as a species that had evolved from what was essentially space coral and thought mathematics was a type of interpretive dance. The council actually assigned us a cultural supervisor whose job was to make sure we didn't try to solve interplanetary diplomatic incidents with reality TV shows. Little did they know, that would have been a step up from what actually happened. It all started going wrong during what was supposed to be a routine diplomatic reception. The council was celebrating some obscure galactic holiday that involved a lot of interpretive tentacle waving and ceremonial filing of forms in triplicate. I was stuck in my usual spot behind the refreshment table, waging my endless war against the coffee machine. Cooper, why is the liquid refreshment dispenser producing what appears to be a small quantum singularity? Ambassador Zorn had drifted over to inspect my latest caffeinated catastrophe. That's just what happens when you press the espresso button twice and the cappuccino button 3 times, I explained, trying to contain what might have been either a miniature black hole or severely overcooked coffee. I think it's trying to bend space-time to make the coffee stronger. Fascinating. Your species' ability to create chaos from even the simplest technology is remarkable. I was about to point out that their species had installed the machine when I noticed something odd. A group of Voraxian delegates had broken away from the main reception and were huddled near the emergency exit, speaking in hushed tones. Now, Voraxians don't do anything in hushed tones. Their normal speaking voice sounds like a garbage disposal trying to digest a trombone. Suspicious? You bet your caffeinated quantum singularity it was. The Voraxians were tall, scaly, and looked like someone had tried to cross a military parade ground with a filing cabinet. They wore uniforms so starched they could probably deflect small arms fire, and each one had more medals than chests to pin them on. Their leader, General Craw ZXT, which I privately nicknamed General Crawfish because I'm terrible with alien names and also sleep-deprived, was gesturing at what looked suspiciously like a holographic battle plan. Now, any sensible person would have alerted security. Any sensible person would have quietly informed their superiors. Any sensible person would not have tried to get closer by pretending to fix the waste reclamation unit next to the group while actually eavesdropping. I never claimed to be sensible. The humans remain unaware of our strategic advantage, Craw ZXT was saying in what he probably thought was a whisper but sounded more like a cement mixer with laryngitis. Their primitive social media platforms will make the perfect vector for our mimetic warfare. I nearly dropped my wrench. They were planning to attack Earth using memes? I would have laughed if I hadn't seen the complex algorithms floating in their battle plan hologram. These guys had apparently studied Earth's internet and concluded it was some kind of sophisticated mind control network. I mean, they weren't entirely wrong, but still. Sir, one of his subordinates rumbled, our analysis suggests their cat videos are particularly effective at neural suppression. The subjects appear to enter a trance-like state, repeatedly watching the same content while making unusual vocalizations. Excellent. We will begin by flooding their networks with our own perfectly optimized content. Then, while their population is distracted, our forces will. I never heard the rest of that sentence because at that exact moment the coffee machine decided to violate several laws of physics simultaneously. The resulting caffeine-powered explosion sent me sprawling right into the middle of the Voraxian group, scattering their holoprojector and my dignity across the floor. There was a moment of absolute silence, broken only by the coffee machine's cheerful announcement that it had successfully created a new flavor it called temporal mocha paradox. General Craw ZXT looked down at me with the kind of expression that suggested he was calculating exactly how many regulations he could cite while having me spaced out an airlock. Maintenance drone, he ground out. Explain your presence. Would you believe I was just trying to fix the coffee machine, I asked, pointing at the now smoking appliance that was somehow managing to brew coffee backwards through time. The general's eyes narrowed. You have overheard classified military intelligence. This is most unfortunate. That's when I did something either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid, though given my track record. I'm betting on stupid. I grabbed the coffee machine's dispenser hose and pointed at them like a weapon. Nobody move, or I'll press all the buttons at once. Do you know what happens when you press all the buttons at once? Because I don't, and I'm pretty sure that makes it scarier. Looking back, I probably should have come up with a better threat than I'll make you bad coffee, but you know what? It worked. The Voraxians actually took a step back, probably because they'd seen what that machine could do to the fabric of reality when it was working normally. That gave me just enough time to do what any responsible adult would do in this situation. I ran like hell, clutching the holoprojector I'd managed to snag during the chaos. Behind me I could hear General Craw ZXT bellowing orders, and what sounded like the coffee machine beginning to play show tunes. I needed help, and I needed it fast. Unfortunately, the only person I could think of who might believe me was the one council member, who spent more time trying to understand human culture than condemning it, a junior bureaucrat from the crystalline collective named Kikes 427, who went by K and had an unhealthy obsession with Earth soap operas. As I sprinted through the embassy's corridors, alarms beginning to blare behind me, I couldn't help but think that maybe, just maybe, the council had been right about one thing: humans really did have a unique talent for creating chaos. I was about to prove just how right they were. I found Kay in their usual spot in the embassy's Cultural Research Center, their crystalline form glowing softly as they binge-watched what appeared to be their fourth straight hour of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Kay, we've got a problem, I gasped, still out of breath from my coffee machine-wielding escape. The Voraxians are planning to invade Earth using weaponized memes. Kay's crystalline structure flickered, and what I'd learned was their equivalent of raising an eyebrow. Jack, have you been drinking that time reverse coffee again? No. Well, yes, technically some of it splashed on me when it exploded. But that's not the point. I shoved the holoprojector at them. Look. Kay's glow dimmed as they processed the Voraxian battle plans. This is concerning. They've completely misinterpreted your species' social media behavior patterns. They think going viral is a form of biological warfare. Can't we just tell the Council? Kay's crystalline surface rippled with what I recognized as their about to deliver bad news pattern. That might be somewhat problematic. You see, to report a potential invasion threat, we'd need to fill out Form X742B and quintuplicate, get it approved by at least 3 different departments, and then wait for the Council's Emergency Response Committee to schedule a preliminary hearing to discuss whether we should schedule an actual hearing. How long would that take, given current bureaucratic efficiency levels? Somewhere between 6 months and 2 years. I slumped against the wall. The Voraxians will have turned Earth into a giant military meme factory by then. There has to be something we can do. Kay's surface suddenly brightened. Actually, there might be. But it's either brilliant or completely insane. Those are my favorite kinds of plans, I said, which really should have been a warning sign to both of us. The Voraxians are planning to use Earth's social media networks against your species, correct? But they're approaching it from a purely tactical perspective. They don't understand the actual culture behind it. Right. So what if we beat them at their own game? What if we turned human internet culture against them before they can weaponize it? I stared at Kay. Are you suggesting we fight an advanced alien empire using memes? Precisely. Kay's excitement was making them glow like a disco ball. Think about it, the Voraxians are a rigidly hierarchical species that values order and control above all else. They're attempting to use something they don't remotely understand. What happens when we introduce them to the pure chaos of genuine human internet culture? We'd need help, I said, starting to warm up to this absolutely ridiculous plan. And we'd need to work fast before they launch their attack. I can access the embassy's communication systems, Kay offered. And I've been studying Earth's social media platforms as part of my cultural research. You mean as part of your reality TV addiction? That's not entirely incorrect. But it means I understand how your species' content goes viral. More importantly, I understand why. We spent the next hour outlining what had to be the most absurd defense strategy in human history. Kay would use their access to redirect the Voraxians' planned mimetic attack through a series of servers we'd set up. Meanwhile, I'd coordinate with some friends back on Earth to prepare the counterattack. Just to be clear, I said, as we finalize the details, our plan to save Earth is to spam the Voraxian military with cat videos, dad jokes, and random memes until they break. Don't forget the TikTok dances, Kay added helpfully. Right. Because teaching a militaristic alien empire about TikTok couldn't possibly go wrong. Just then, the embassy's emergency alert system activated. A mechanical voice echoed through the corridors. Attention all personnel. Due to an unexpected quantum caffeine anomaly, the diplomatic reception area is currently experiencing temporal displacement. Also, the coffee machine is now sentient and has filed for citizenship. Please update your forms accordingly. Kay and I looked at each other. We should probably deal with that coffee machine at some point, I said. One potential catastrophe at a time, Jack. One at a time. As we rushed to put our plan into action, I couldn't help but wonder if maybe, just maybe, the Council had been right to worry about letting humans loose in the galaxy. Not because we were primitive or dangerous, but because we were about to introduce the concept of shitposting to an interstellar civilization. The universe would never be the same. In retrospect, we probably should have anticipated that our plan wouldn't survive first contact with the enemy. What we didn't expect was for it to go wrong in such spectacularly human fashion. The Voraxian attack began exactly as we'd feared. Their carefully engineered content started flooding Earth's social media platforms, perfectly structured memes designed by military algorithms, precision-crafted viral videos with optimal engagement metrics, and hashtags so strategically planned they made marketing executives weep with joy. They were, in short, absolutely terrible. These are the worst memes I've ever seen. My friend Tommy messaged me from Earth. They're using proper grammar and everything, and their cat videos look like military training exercises. He wasn't wrong. The Voraxians had created what they thought were weaponized versions of human content, but they'd completely missed the point. They had cats marching in formation. Their memes came with cited sources and footnotes. Their attempts at viral dance videos looked like synchronized military drills performed by people who'd only ever read about dancing in technical manuals. "That's good, right?" I asked Kay as we monitored the situation from our makeshift command center, aka the embassy's janitor's closet. "If their content is bad, it won't affect anyone." Kay's crystalline surface pulsed with worry. "Not exactly. Look at the engagement metrics." I looked. Then I looked again. Then I swore. Humans were sharing the Voraxian content not because it was good, but because it was hilariously bad. The internet had discovered the alien empire's terrible memes and turned them into a meta-meme. People were ironically sharing them, making parodies, and turning the Voraxians' attempt at military-grade content into the latest online trend. Voraxian Cat Challenge is trending worldwide, Kay reported, their crystal structure flickering in distress. Humans are recreating their terrible cat videos, with their own cats, in military uniforms. "Maybe this is good," I suggested weakly. They wanted their content to go viral, and it did, just not the way they planned. That's when our emergency alert system picked up a transmission from the Voraxian command ship. General Krozixty's face appeared on our screen, looking like someone had just told him his entire military career was actually a TikTok prank. "What is happening?" he demanded, his voice making our equipment rattle. "Our perfectly optimized content is being modified. Humans are adding something called bottom text. They're replacing our precision-engineered audio tracks with something called Rick Astley. This is not proceeding according to protocol." I was about to respond when another alert caught my attention. The coffee machine, which had apparently gained both sentience and Wi-Fi access, had started its own Twitter account and was live tweeting the invasion. At Voraxian Suprema Coffee, LOL, watch these guys try to understand human memes. Bet they can't even make a decent espresso. Alien invasion fail but first coffee. The coffee machine has more followers than the official Voraxian Empire account, Kay noted, somehow managing to sound both impressed and horrified. That's when everything really went sideways. Remember Tommy, my friend on Earth? He and a group of internet archivists had just finished uploading what they called the complete history of human internet culture to a server network we'd prepared. It contained everything from the very first lolcat to the most recent TikTok trend, a comprehensive database of pure, unfiltered human online chaos. And Kay, beautiful, brilliant, terrible Kay, had just finished writing a program to beam it directly into the Voraxian military's communication network. "Should we warn them?" Kay asked as their finger hovered over the activation key. I thought about General Krozixty's condescending smirk, about all the times the Council had called us primitive, about the fact that an advanced alien empire had looked at cat videos and decided they were weapons of mass distraction. "Send it," I said. Kay pressed the button. And that's how we accidentally gave an entire alien empire the equivalent of a cultural blue screen of death. Have you ever seen an entire military hierarchy collapse because someone showed them a keyboard cat video? Because I have, and let me tell you, it's both hilarious and terrifying. The first sign that our plan had worked a little too well came when the Voraxian battle fleet above Earth suddenly started broadcasting "Never Gonna Give You Up" on all frequencies. Not as an attack, mind you, they'd just discovered Rick rolling and couldn't help themselves. "Status report," I demanded, watching as chaos unfolded across our monitors. Kay's crystalline surface was flickering through colors I'd never seen before. "The Voraxian command structure is experiencing technical difficulties. Their junior officers have discovered reaction GIFs. Their battlefield communications are now 90% memes. Someone taught their supreme commander about Doge speak. Much invasion. Very fail." "Wow," came General Krozixty's voice over the emergency channel, followed by what sounded like poorly suppressed giggling. The Voraxian military, the most disciplined fighting force in the known galaxy, was crumbling in real time. Their ships were still in formation, but their crews were too busy trying to recreate viral dance videos in zero gravity to remember why they were there in the first place. "Sir," one of their bridge officers reported to Krozixty. "The humans have something called YouTube poop request permission to conduct further research. For tactical purposes, of course." "Permission granted," Krozixty replied. "Also, has anyone seen these small Earth creatures called pugs? Their facial features appear to be assembled incorrectly, yet they are oddly compelling." The coffee machine. which had apparently appointed itself as Earth's social media ambassador, was having the time of its life. It had started a streaming channel where it provided running commentary on the invasion while brewing increasingly impossible drinks. And here we see the mighty Voraxian Empire discovering what happens when you give sleep-deprived college students energy drinks and video editing software it narrated, dispensing what looked like a rainbow-colored cappuccino that hummed the Mario theme song. Place your bets on how long before they discover vines. Kay and I watched in amazement as the Voraxian invasion force transformed from a military operation into what could only be described as a galaxy-wide watch party. Their warships were now hosting viewing sessions for Earth's greatest viral videos. Their tactical officers were having heated debates about whether cereal is a soup. Someone had taught their artillery division about puns, and they refused to fire their weapons unless they could make a dad joke about it first. The humans have weaponized comedy itself, one Voraxian commander announced in awe. Their strategic use of absurdity. It's beautiful. The council, meanwhile, was having what could charitably be called a meltdown. They'd convened an emergency session to address the situation, only to find half their members had become distracted by cat videos themselves. Order. Order, and the council ambassador Zorn tried to shout over the chaos, but they were drowned out by a group of normally stoic hive mind representatives who had discovered TikTok dances and were attempting to recreate them with their various appendages. That's when we received an unexpected transmission from General Kra ZXT himself. His normally pristine uniform was slightly wrinkled, a serious violation of Voraxian protocol, and he appeared to be wearing a t-shirt underneath that said "Icon as cheeseburger." Maintenance Drone Cooper, he addressed me, attempting to maintain his military bearing despite clearly trying not to laugh at something off-screen. Your species' cultural warfare capabilities are unprecedented. We formally request a cultural exchange program. A what now? I asked, certain I'd misheard. Our analysts have determined that any species capable of creating something called cursed images is too powerful to risk antagonizing. Also, we need someone to explain why humans find pictures of beans in unusual places so amusing. And just like that, the invasion was over. Not with a bang, but with a meme. The coffee machine chose that moment to make its final contribution to interstellar diplomacy. It somehow managed to brew a drink that, when consumed, made you experience every viral video ever made simultaneously. We had to quarantine the entire diplomatic wing for a week while various ambassadors recovered from uncontrollable fits of laughter. Humanity had done the impossible. We'd defeated an alien invasion force not through superior technology or military might, but by introducing them to our weapons-grade shitposting capabilities. The universe would never be the same. The aftermath of what became known as the Great Meme War was both more profound and more ridiculous than anyone could have predicted. I'm still not sure which parts of what followed were serious diplomatic initiatives and which were elaborate shitposts, and at this point I'm afraid to ask. First came the formal peace treaty, which had to be revised 16 times because the Voraxian diplomats kept adding reaction gifs to the official document. The final version included a clause that officially recognized the right to vibe as a fundamental sentient freedom and established humanity as the galaxy's premier cultural advisors. We had somehow mimed our way into a seat at the grown-ups table of galactic civilization. The Voraxian Empire underwent what historians would later call the Great Loosening. Their formerly rigid military hierarchy transformed into something closer to a giant interstellar content creation network that occasionally remembered to do some conquering. General Kra ZXT, in a move that shocked everyone, resigned his military commission to become a full-time YouTuber. His channel, Kra ZXT Reacts to Earth Stuff, became the most watched show in 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. Today we will be examining the human concept of putting googly eyes on things he would announce with complete military seriousness. This initiative has shown remarkable effectiveness in psychological warfare applications. The Council, meanwhile, had to completely reorganize their classification system for civilizations. They created an entirely new category just for Earth level O approach with caution may cause uncontrolled mimetic proliferation. We were simultaneously recognized as the most promising and most concerning species in known space. We still don't understand how they do it, I overheard one council member telling another. Their content seems to operate outside the normal laws of information physics. It's like they've weaponized nonsense itself. The cultural exchange programs that followed were a sight to behold. Voraxian military academies started offering mandatory courses in meme theory and shitposting tactics. Earth universities responded by creating degrees in interstellar media studies, with entire departments dedicated to teaching aliens why humans find certain things funny. The coffee machine, now officially recognized as Earth's first artificial intelligence and appointed as our social media ambassador, started a galactic trend of appliances gaining sentience through excessive exposure to human internet culture. The council had to establish new protocols for dealing with toasters that wanted voting rights and refrigerators that insisted on starting podcasts. Remember, it would tweet, "Any sufficiently advanced civilization is indistinguishable from a shitpost. Wisdom brew philosophical roast." As for me, well, the council, in what I'm pretty sure was either a promotion or an elaborate prank, appointed me as Earth's official director of mimetic relations. My job now involves explaining human internet culture to increasingly bewildered alien species, and occasionally preventing interstellar incidents caused by misunderstood memes. Last week, I had to talk down a potential diplomatic crisis because someone showed the Hive Mind Collective what mukbang videos were, and they couldn't decide if it was a declaration of war or a marriage proposal. The week before that, I spent 3 days explaining to a group of energy beings why humans think it's funny to put small hats on cats. Kay got promoted too, becoming the head of the newly formed Department of Human Cultural Integration. They've been doing groundbreaking work in translating human memes into forms that other species can understand, though they're still trying to explain why humans find things funnier when they're deep-fried and distorted. The true power of humanity, Kay told me recently, their crystalline surface gleaming with what I've learned to recognize as fond amusement, isn't your technology or your resourcefulness. It's your ability to find humor in absolute chaos and then weaponize it. The Voraxians, in perhaps the most unexpected twist, have become Earth's strongest allies. Their warships still patrol the galaxy, but now they're more likely to be hosting intergalactic meme reviews than planning invasions. They've even started incorporating humor into their military training, though their attempts at jokes still sound like they were generated by an AI that learned comedy from technical manuals. Why did the quantum particle cross the space-time continuum? A Voraxian officer asked me last week, barely containing his excitement. Because it was following proper traversal protocols. Ha 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 ha. I didn't have the heart to tell him that wasn't how jokes worked. Besides, watching a former military empire try to understand human humor is its own kind of entertainment. And the coffee machine? It finally fixed itself, sort of. It still violates the laws of physics on a regular basis, but now it does it intentionally for the entertainment value. It started a trend of extreme brewing videos that have become weirdly popular across the galaxy. Last month, it somehow managed to brew a cup of coffee that made the drinker temporarily speak in memes. The council is still trying to decide if that counts as a weapon of mass destruction. Looking back at everything that's happened, I can't help but wonder if this was somehow humanity's destiny all along. In a universe full of serious advanced civilizations, maybe what was really needed was a species that never quite learned to take anything seriously. A species that looked into the vast, intimidating void of space and decided to fill it with cat videos and dad jokes. The council still hasn't decided if humanity is brilliant or insane. The truth is, we're probably both, and somehow that's working out just fine. The universe is infinite, the coffee machine posted yesterday, brewing what appeared to be a cup of liquid memes, but human creativity is infinite plus one. Cosmic thoughts, but first coffee. I couldn't have said it better myself.